Alrighty, back to beginning the presentation. Um, pleased to announce that we have several great individual or good friends and colleagues, friends that will be sharing some information with regards to their experience with St. Nouveau Sims, and one in particular who happens to be a doctor who has Sims incorporated into her practice on a very, very regular basis with her patients. So without any further time passing, I'm going to begin the presentation and start to uh, talk about a few opening slides, sharing some information, and then I'll be inviting Dr. Harvey first, and secondly, friend Sandra from the Vancouver area. So once again, welcome everybody. I hope you had a great day. It's Monday, one of my favorite days, and I'm hoping that you had a phenomenal day as well. Here we go. So now we're set to go. I see that Dr. Harvey's online as well, and we're ready to roll. So folks, we as independent business consultants in St. Nouveau have a phenomenal opportunity in front of us with this company called St. Nouveau. We each are CEOs of our own company, and it's all in our hands. So whatever we decide to make of our attempts or our efforts, we are the ones that will either reap the rewards or just be mediocre. Everyone has a different agenda. Some folks have life that tends to get in the way, and I'll address those circumstances as I get on through the presentation. But I wanted to begin today by sharing this particular slide that I've just brought up onto the screen, because it's one that is kind of near and dear to my heart. I find that Mondays for myself are the beginning of the week, and Monday happens to be an amazing day. And as per each single letter in the slide, there's a little bit of information that goes along with it. So, maybe this day is not everyone's favorite as it is mine. And to be honest, I love every single day. Every single day of the week is a fabulous day because it's a gift every time we wake up in the morning. And that's one of the narratives part of this slide. So, if it's not one of your favorite days, never forget that every single day after you've had the opportunity to wake up and be blessed with another day that we can enjoy, it's an amazing gift that we have. So make it count. Everything that we do in life is critical to our success, to our longevity, to our legacies that we'll leave behind. And that's just life, So my motto is try to do your best and succeed. I do want to say thank you very much to the many participants that are online, and some are not, who are going above and beyond in sharing information, also providing details on how to go about taking an app and maybe creating something unique, like a slide for an invitation, or some of the slides that you'll see today. And I'm sure that many of you have seen the slides that have been passed around with, credible information or detail about a particular symptom that we've seen and had stories shared on. And of course, the individuals are sort of featured on these slides. And so when I provide an introduction to one of my guests this evening, I'll simply have that slide sharing or showing during the entire time while that person is presenting. So, today's theme is sharing and the art of sharing, whether it be for your success or evolving as a better leader, and also taking the time to groom and assist and help many of our team members as we grow out our teams. There's always a starting point or a beginning point with everything. And as you go through time, we find that, we generally expand or grow, much like, say, a family grows. First, there's a relationship, and it develops into perhaps growing a family, and then before you know it, those children are having relationships, and the family just continues to grow. So the same with business, and I hope that every one of us can succeed exponentially with Say Nouveau, because the opportunities are certainly there. This is one of the best direct selling marketing companies on the planet. And I'm not going to get into too many details because the facts are all there, and we've heard many of these stories in the past. I'm hoping to provide very fresh and clean information as we go through time. I'm going to skip by this slide because this slide in particular happens to address one of the many videos that are online with on Vimeo. And there are so many videos that Say Nouveau has produced, well into the 170 or 180 number at this point in time. So if you haven't been on Vimeo, I highly encourage everyone to log on, or in your back office, there's an opportunity to click on many of the videos that are linked onto the video site or home. And from there, the particular video that you're viewing or sending off to a colleague or a friend or a new associate, you can see the remaining videos that are all attached one behind the other as a convenience for us in our marketing component. So here's a typical slide of one of the slides within one of the many videos that we have. There are so many different areas of Say Nouveau. We have three different sort of divisions, as I like to refer to them as. We have the foundation lines, the body sim lines, and of course we happen to have the superfood group category, which are all phenomenal products. Now, when I came across this particular slide, I couldn't help but think of how meaningful this is. This is an example of what an iceberg looks like. And for any of you that haven't seen an iceberg, or alrighty, back to beginning the presentation. Pleased to announce that we have several great individual or good friends and colleagues, friends that will be sharing some information with regards to their experience with Say Nouveau Sims, and one in particular who happens to be a doctor who has Sims incorporated into her practice on a very, very regular basis with her patients. So without any further time passing, I'm going to begin the presentation and start to talk about a few opening slides, sharing some information, and then I'll be inviting Dr. Harvey first, and secondly, friend Sandra from the Vancouver area. So once again, welcome everybody. I hope you had a great day. It's Monday, one of my favorite days, and I'm hoping that you had a phenomenal day as well. Here we go. So now we're set to go. I see that Dr. Harvey's online as well, and we're ready to roll. So folks, we as independent business consultants in Say Nouveau have a phenomenal opportunity in front of us with this company called Say Nouveau. We each are CEOs of our own company, and it's all in our hands. So whatever we decide to make of our attempts or our efforts, we are the ones that will either reap the rewards or just be mediocre. Everyone has a different agenda. Some folks have life that tends to get in the way, and I'll address those circumstances as I get on through the presentation. But I wanted to begin today by sharing this particular slide that I've just brought up onto the screen, because it's one that is kind of near and dear to my heart. I find that Mondays for myself are the beginning of the week, and Monday happens to be an amazing day. And as per each single letter in the slide, there's a little bit of information that goes along with it. So, maybe this day is not everyone's favorite as it is mine. And to be honest, I love every single day. Every single day of the week is a fabulous day because it's a gift every time we wake up in the morning. And that's one of the narratives part of this slide. So, if it's not one of your favorite days, never forget that every single day after you've had the opportunity to wake up and be blessed with another day that we can enjoy, it's an amazing gift that we have. So make it count. Everything that we do in life is critical to our success, to our longevity, to our legacies that we'll leave behind. And that's just life. So my motto is try to do your best and succeed. I do want to say thank you very much to the many participants that are online and some are not, who are going above and beyond in sharing information, also providing details on how to go about taking an app and maybe creating something unique, like a slide for an invitation, or some of the slides that you'll see today. And I'm sure that many of you have seen the slides that have been passed around with, credible information or detail about a particular symptom that we've seen and had stories shared on. And of course, the individuals are sort of featured on these slides. And so when I provide an introduction to one of my guests this evening, I'll simply have that slide sharing or showing during the entire time while that person is presenting. So, today's theme is sharing and the art of sharing, whether it be for your success or evolving as a better leader, and also taking the time to groom and assist and help many of our team members as we grow out our teams. There's always a starting point or a beginning point with everything. And as you go through time, we find that, we generally expand or grow, much like, say, a family grows. First, there's a relationship and it develops into perhaps growing a family. And then before you know it, those children are having relationships and the family just continues to grow. So the same with business. And I hope that every one of us can succeed exponentially with Say Nouveau, because the opportunities are certainly there. This is one of the best direct selling marketing companies on the planet. And I'm not going to get into too many details because the facts are all there, and we've heard many of these stories in the past. I'm hoping to provide very fresh and clean information as we go through time. I'm going to skip by this slide because this slide in particular happens to address one of the many videos that are online with on Vimeo. And there are so many videos that Say Nouveau has produced, well into the 170 or 180 number at this point in time. So if you haven't been on Vimeo, I highly encourage everyone to log on, or in your back office, there's an opportunity to click on many of the videos that are linked onto the video site or home. And from there, the particular video that you're viewing or sending off to a colleague or a friend or a new associate, you can see the remaining videos that are all attached one behind the other as a convenience for us in our marketing component. So here's a typical slide of one of the slides within one of the many videos that we have. There are so many different areas of Say Nouveau. We have three different sort of divisions, as I like to refer to them as. We have the foundation lines, the body sim lines, and of course we happen to have the superfood group category, which are all phenomenal products. Now, when I came across this particular slide, I couldn't help but think of how meaningful this is. This is an example of what an iceberg looks like. And for any of you that haven't seen an iceberg or know some facts about icebergs, when there's an iceberg floating off in the ocean somewhere, generally coming down from the north, and I've had the great pleasure to be on an old-fashioned sailing schooner at one point with my son when I was off on a conference, and we were actually sailing within, a couple of 100 meters within in and around these massive icebergs. Well, if you're not familiar with what an iceberg or how an iceberg is composed, there's 70 to 80% of the iceberg below the surface of the water, which is similar to the way we as individuals begin in business or begin our life. We generally have a very small portion of ourselves exposed, and the rest of us is still to be developed. So as this iceberg melts away to get to sort of a small component that's floating, left floating on the surface, that's our success, or we can refer to it as our success. And I'm also going to provide another little analogy about what I've learned over the years or decades about success. It's those that truly perform and those that truly dedicate themselves to working a little additional, a little harder, and going the distance to get to that success area. So, in that process, there's some hard work, there's some persistence, there's some late nights or weekend work, there's some discipline required. We have to be able to take rejection. That's always important, to learn how to take that and deal with it appropriately. It takes courage to get out there and become a true entrepreneur that reaches great heights. And as I said earlier in the presentation, everyone has a moniker or a benchmark that they'd like to achieve to, but I'm certain that everyone would always like to be a little bit better. It's no different than with many of the folks that we communicate with. Two main factors always resonate with everyone. When we start to talk about money or finances, I don't know of anyone that wouldn't like to earn more or additional or have an additional income stream. More importantly, when we talk about health, everyone would love greater health or more of an abundance in the area of health. Because without health, we don't really have much. You can have all the money in the world, and that won't help you if you're chronically ill with some major disease or something that's holding you back or creating a barrier for you to live a fulfilling life. So we also have to be able to adjust to change, and everyone that gets into business knows that there's risk involved. We have to be passionate. Innovation is always good, just as the information that I'm seeing come from all of the team members from all over the world by creating information. And at this point, I want to thank Jean down in LA, who has created some amazing pieces of work, and also Sharon over in New Jersey, who's another amazing individual that has created wonderful slides, and you'll see some of their work as we're going through time. I know that there's a little bit of a special on right now. I'm going to address that at the tail end of the presentation. So I'll share that with you all later on. And of course, it takes great habits to develop into becoming a really, really good business person. At this point, I'd like to introduce a friend of mine from the Vancouver area. Dr. Harvey has a practice in 3 different locations in the Lower Mainland, also on the Sunshine Coast in 2 different centers. Dr. Harvey is with us presently, so I'm waiting so that I can see her on my screen somewhere. Here she is, and I'll be bringing her in. Dr. Harvey was participating with me not long ago, and unfortunately, and I do feel quite terrible about what had transpired. I had a lot of technical difficulties that evening when I was featuring Dr. Harvey to present, and I don't believe many of us were able to see all of the great content that she was sharing. And so, as I'd mentioned, Sharon on the East Coast in New Jersey, New York area has created some of these slides for many individuals, or provided a template. And so we can create and modify our own. I've just simply taken Sharon's slides, and you can see her QR code on the bottom of Dr. Harvey's slides. So I'm going to invite Dr. Harvey to speak and share information about, sorry about that, folks. I'm going to take it back one, and I want to unmute Dr. Harvey. I don't want to have the same thing happen as previously. Okay. And here we go. Dr. Harvey.
Good evening, John.
You're on. Welcome.
Excellent.
Welcome to the meeting, and we've made it past a hurdle. I have not.
The last time I was on, it was pretty entertaining. And, you know, I love being the center of attention, so I'm loving that I get on this.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you like being the center of attention. I'm just going to take some of these slides back. And anyway, I'll leave this particular slide. I want to get back to one that...
So I'm so grateful you're in my upline. I've not met anyone who works harder and more diligently than you do. And then above you is Catherine, which she's not above, but oh my gosh, the two of you run the extra miles continuously. Do either of you get any sleep?
A little bit. A little bit. We try.
You guys are testing out the Sims. You're maxing them out, going, "We can do this. We can do this." I just wanted to share some of my research, and something I was sharing last time was that I really love this product because it makes my practice even more fun. And yeah, I know fun is not supposed to be part of a practice, but I think it is. And a lot of times I'll have my patients laughing, even though they're in a lot of pain, because you actually just have to reprogram the pain map. And that's what I'm finding I can do with the Sims is I'm putting them on, especially because I'm so familiar with the channels. Like I think I shared with you somebody who had a tremendous amount of pain. She wanted to golf, and she had a tremendous amount of pain moving her thumb. So I actually put a stress and a performance on both her thumbs, and instantaneously, we're talking not even 10 seconds, all her pain was gone. And then I think you have the slide where I had the patient come in with the hornets stings on her foot. Her foot swelled up, what, 2 times, 3 times the size? And the Sims I put on were allergy for an antihistamine and performance. And I saw it go down a third during the treatment, but by the next day, it was completely, her foot was right back to normal. These are nice because I can send a lot of these products home with people. Like even someone said, well, I'm going to go on holidays. And I said, okay, let's see the protocol, because it really comes down to a lot of protocol with people. It's and I find it changes weekly. Like, for example, somebody will need heart 1 week, and then they'll need stress the next week. And then all of a sudden they'll need allergies. And I'll go, well, what's going on? And they'll say, it's really hard. I've got somebody that's in the hospital, they're dying. And because allergies is about the lungs is about sadness. So I can put, even one of my patients said, she said, I've got a really hard, sad week ahead of me. Can I have those ones you put on me that helped me before? And they were the allergy ones. And because I put them on very, very specific lung points, which pertain to sadness, she said, you know what? My week wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. So I just love that I can send these products home with people. They can administer themselves. And it also opens up.
You're losing a connection.
This was a Sorry, go ahead.
We just lost the internet connection, so repeat the last couple of sentences about you were at sadness and lung points or
Okay.
lung, okay, and that's where you just simply dropped off. There was an internet connection loss.
I've fallen off the earth. It is flat, you know. So my patient said she would have a tough week coming up, and she said, "Can I have those ones you put on me before that help me get through my week?" And because it's the sim is allergies, I put it pertaining to lungs because lungs has a lot to do with sadness. If you have anyone struggling that has had a death, um, or a misfortune, it's usually death or a breakup. Um, if you can put
Oh,
the allergy point lung specifically, are you losing me again?
just a little bit.
Am I there?
Yes, you are. Yes, you
Oh,
are.
just
Yeah.
a little bit. um, you can put those spots on the lungs, and it just gives them an easier week. Doesn't take all the pain and the suffering with what they're going through, but it lightens it. So am I coming through clearly now?
Yes, you are.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one was I showed someone who had a cut, uh, and they said they actually went right down to the bone. They knew it, and I put the Sims on. What was it? Performance? I think I got a photo there.
It
It
appears
was,
as though it's a performance and several performance right on either side of the lesion,
and then there was
and
another one.
and
Allergy for
it's
skin?
an it's an allergy or
Yeah, it would be allergy
okay.
because lungs have everything to do with the skin. If you ever look at someone who's a smoker, their skin becomes grayish, ash looking. Lungs have everything to do with skin. So when I looked at that scar, I thought, okay, performance and skin, let's get this healing faster. And it was also close to the lung channel. So I put allergy on that. So two performance side to side, allergy top to bottom. And within a week, they had been healed like 90%. And I'm like, that's very, very, very nice. And I want to share one more.
Certainly,
Uh,
absolutely.
an 83-year-old woman came into my practice, and she's a going concern. This woman is, and apparently she had fallen, and to break her fall, she used her wrist. Well,
Ouch.
yeah, she came in, and so she'd broken her third, fourth, and fifth metacarpal. But I wasn't too concerned about that because that will heal. Because I've been working with her for a few years now, and I actually had to say this to her. I said, I'm so glad I've been seeing you because this is also the Sims also help for preventative. And I said to her, I said, I'm so impressed you've been seeing me for years because you've had this injury, and your recovery time is maybe 1/8 of somebody else, especially with her age. So we got the swelling down immediately, and I don't have to put the Sims on the same hand. I put them on the opposite hand, and they'll work on the injured hand. So her hand was healing quite well even after 14 days, well, 11 days. And so then I looked at her skin and I thought, the bruising was still pretty intense. It was still pretty dark. So I thought, well, what do I need? I put on a performance. I put on a women's. Oh, I have to check my photos. Performance, women's, and I think allergy also for the skin. But I put the women's on because I just find the women's is about blood. And I'm not only referring to menstruating, but I noticed people who want it, the woman sim, they always want it for their mind. Whenever their mind is exhausted, they always want the woman sim. So I'm using them quite a bit for that. But I thought, okay, I need her blood moving, and I'm pretty stoked to see her in 2 days. with the Sims, 'cause I also sent her home with a few extra after they expire. So it was performance, women's, allergy, and performance. And I asked her to tell me what it looks like, and already it's starting to turn yellow. But aside from some little extras, I also said to her, I said, I need you to dip your fingers, because she had a nice big cast. Dip your fingers in very, very warm water, take them out. Dip them again, because I needed her fingers to go red. Red is new blood. So those are my stories for today.
Well, thank you very much. Very much appreciated for you to take the time and share your information. I hope that you're compiling a large folder with examples before and after photos. Those will always be helpful to everyone around the world that dials in on these Zoom calls, and probably a great idea for your files. Now, I'm not here to see whether or not you're doing that, but I think it's a good idea. And I'm sure you probably are placing those types of photographs into the files of your patients. So thanks very much. I appreciate your assistance. And did you say this lady was 80? What was her age?
She's 83 years old. And if you ever look at people that age, their bodies don't heal well. And so that's why I'm all for preventative. And you can tell people that is that you're not just what you're doing is, if you're going to be injured in the future, if you're taking care of yourself now and wearing the Sims now, your healing will be so much faster. So normally someone that age, maybe a month, maybe a month before the blue disappears, because you see a lot of older folks, they got those big blue patches on their skin, and it's usually from warfarin that they're taking. So because we're doing a lot of preventative for her, yeah, the healing was magnificent. And I just wanted to share, it's so nice that you're my upline, John.
Thank you.
You're always encouraging me. You're always saying, what's going on? Teach me more. And I actually love teaching you a lot of this information. So
And
it's
I feel very blessed to be learning so much about the medical side of things, because that certainly was never my background. Maybe I missed my calling because I have a passion to take that information in. Actually, I would have loved to have been a number of different in a number of different professions, and because I love life, and life is always interesting. So thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate it, and I do hope that you stay with us for the rest of the presentation. And I look forward to seeing you in person soon. Do take care, and I'll just mute you for the time being while I continue on with the presentation. Do take care.
thank you very much.
Okay. Oh my goodness,
everyone gets a kiss.
that's pretty special. No, we're taking it one step further than hugs now. Okay. Thank you. So moving right along, let's talk about a story that I would like to share. And that particular story was shared recently when Dr. Allen was hosting an event in Chinese. I try to catch as many sessions as I can, whether they're Chinese or in Hispanic. There are 5 different Zoom presentations on every week. And this particular one caught my attention because often there are slides or there are pictures, and I happen to be speaking to somebody directly or immediately after the presentation. And we just sort of shared a number of different pieces of information. And before I knew it, they shared a very small portion of what was discussed, because I truly cannot understand Chinese. And I was intrigued. So I actually contacted the individual that was sharing that story. And I'm going to be very brief on that story because it's not my story. And many of the Chinese folks that are online today, or are, I shouldn't say Chinese, but individuals that are bilingual or multilingual and have the ability to understand many of those presentations. So Dr. Allen had a gentleman on that was sharing a story about a particular function that he was at, and about a colleague or friend of his that was just near a conversation. And as we all know, during functions or parties, there's a lot of communication going on, where people are socializing and visiting and exchanging ideas and sharing information. And this particular gentleman that was sharing the story from the other night or last week was wearing Sims just as I am, uh, so that they're visual. I like to, wear body Sims extensively because I'm a believer. I'm a product of the product. And I know that at my vintage age, I'm feeling a heck of a lot better than many of my friends. I'm more productive. I feel more youthful than most of them. And I truly, truly admire the work and the research that have gone into this technology. And I'm extremely grateful to St. Nouveau for being the company on the planet that has this technology. So back to the story. As the function or party was going on, and this gentleman was sharing stories to people that were asking him about what these shiny new things were on his person or on his body. And he happened to share a story, and as he was sharing, he had indicated that there are many different types of body Sims, as we know, and we are the choir that are on this particular Zoom presentation. And for any of the new members that we introduce, we generally try to tell or share how many different types of body Sims there are in the different product lines within St. Nouveau. And so having listened to the story from this gentleman that was sharing it about his colleague and friend, he had indicated that his interest was piqued to a point because he was curious about the men's Sims and the women's Sims, and what their um, uh, components or what their benefits were. And so this gentleman was having a private conversation with the other person, and he basically said, well, men's and women's body Sims can do many things. They'll balance out your hormones, and they'll provide some additional oomph in your libido. For women, the women's Sims will provide anyone more beautiful skin, just like our Cinefique Sims. And so, I personally have been wearing female or women's Sims from time to time because I'd like my skin to look a lot better, and I know that as we age, we're probably all interested in doing that. But more importantly, what I thought of the information that I had received was this: with the technology that we have at our disposal, and understanding the technology and the information behind the frequency healing, which Dr. Harvey tends to specialize in, there is such an opportunity, because when we look at the globe and the world, or the world as a whole, both men and women at a certain age become less interested in our sexual desires or performance. And that is a huge area of concern for people all around the world. And, I find that as a business opportunity, because the minute somebody sees a shiny Sim on our body, or when we're sharing some information and we happen to touch on that, it's amazing how many people are out there that don't have the healthy lifestyle that they would so choose or remember from a younger year when they were a younger individual. And so I believe that there's a huge opportunity for additional profits to be had with the men's and the body Sims, as you see up on the screen here, and they're extremely powerful. So, I'm going to share an example about myself. 1 week ago, I decided to head up to a lake and enjoy some time. And little did I recognize that the sun was more intense than I had even thought. And with sunscreen on, this was the result after a day of being by the water. I picked up a lot of vitamin D. I picked up more color than what I should have. This was actually verging on the danger level of having a very serious burn. But the first thing that I thought of when I arrived at home was, what am I going to do? So I reached out. I spoke to someone in our company and I shared with them that I have a bit of a tan, and it's a little bit more than a tan. As you can see, my raccoon eyes, where I was wearing my sunglasses, very white skin, and around my briefs or pants, I can't really see what I'm wearing there, but I thought I'd share my photo of my chest and my face because my legs were the same. Well, without treating this with a lot of moisturizer and also other preventative, cures, my first go-to was Sanovo Body Sims because I had heard other examples of how body sims can help cure severe burns. Just as that lesion that Dr. Harvey was sharing and how quickly it healed, or the example of the very mature lady that's 83, I believe she had indicated, I knew that this would be a very perfect solution for me. So, as a believer, I took a lot of discomfort sims, a lot of performance sims, and some allergy sims, and pasted them on my body where the most intense burn from the sun was. And I can assure you, that evening I went to bed and I never had any trouble whatsoever sleeping. The sheets didn't bother me. I woke up the next day. I didn't have any pain. I had zero flaking or peeling of the skin. All that happened is I just simply turned brown, as you can see me on my on a little screen that I'm sharing with everyone as a participant. And this was the result of a quick cure within a couple of days, and I was back to normal. Of course, I happen to have my roots coming from Europe, and so many Europeans tend to take on a dark brown color very easily or very quickly. We're not as fair skinned as many other people from all around the world. So this is one of my examples, and the other one that I shared from another presentation a couple of weeks ago. I'd like to now bring on another individual that's a friend of mine in the Lower Mainland here. Her name happens to be Sandra, and I'm going to introduce her. Sandra, pardon me, before I introduce Sandra, I wanted to just share this one particular slide because it resonated with me when I happened to see it. I'd like to encourage every one of us to be the best of leaders that we can. Surround yourself with the best people. I know as I'm building my team, I'm looking to see who is a great business-minded individual, who has an interest in another additional income stream, and I'm looking for people that are go-getters. And so, when I saw this slide or this post somewhere, I thought, wow, does it ever make sense? I mean, we can, from time to time, come across individuals that will drop off or don't have the same enthusiasm as we do. And so when I read it, I thought, okay, the best leaders are the ones who have the sense to surround themselves by great individuals. And that's who we have on the line. Everybody that's on this Zoom call today is a major leader. And they're looking for information, and they take the time and they put in the effort to actually go about doing a great job. And so, with that said, we have to have a little bit of restraint or self-control and allow people to grow. I've always been a big believer in never micromanaging individuals. I just believe in sharing information. And so I'm going to ask that Sandra unmute herself, or I'm going to do that. And I'm going to now bring on Sandra from the Lower Mainland. She's a professional businesswoman. She graduated from Queen's University out east in Canada. She's formerly from the Montreal area and also Toronto, and presently residing in Vancouver. So, Sandra, welcome to tonight's Zoom. I know that you have some very interesting information and fact about what you've experienced in the last couple of months. And please share absolutely everything that you can about your experience with St. Ivo and the Body Sims and other products that you've sort of been exposed to, and some of the information that we've exchanged, and some of the information that you've shared with some of your colleagues. So please jump in and take it away.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jump in if I miss anything or if you want me to bring anything up. John introduced me to Sinuvo, I think it was about mid-June of this year. So I'm very new to the program and to the products, but I'm learning. And I'm taking my time to learn. I want to be able to learn and be able to understand the product before I go out and start to actually talk about the products and the effects to my colleagues and my friends. And I'm going to be frank, I was skeptical. I thought, initially that this is voodoo stuff. This can't happen. I think the first story that John told me about was a colleague of his in the main office in Utah, who lost quite a bit of weight over the last couple of months. And I was initially very interested in the weight management Sims. That's pretty much the first Sims that I tried out. I've been on them and I've been off them over the last couple of months, but I can say in the first week of being on the Sims, I was on weight management plus the performance Sims, and the weight loss was surprising. I think in the first 2 or 3 days, I dropped about 4 pounds. Mind you, I think a lot of that was just my system clearing itself and getting used to the new reality. But I can say in that first week, I lost 7 pounds. And I was pretty impressed. I felt much more energetic to the point where I felt like my body was vibrating. I had never felt that before. And I couldn't believe it. I would text John and say, wow, this is amazing. Very, very impressed. I went away for almost 3 weeks back east to our cottage, and I thought I didn't want to waste the Sims because I knew that I was going to be eating Quebec food and drinking more wine, which John can attest to. So I thought, I'm not going to wear the Sims for the 3 weeks. And despite all of that, I was expecting to put those 7 pounds back on, but I only put 3. And as soon as I got back, I put the Sims back on, and that 3 pounds went within 3 days. So I'm now back on the Sims full time, the performance and the maintenance. The performance and the weight management. And John has just been slowly introducing me to the other Sims. I haven't had the chance to use them, but I'm excited. The discomfort, I'm very interested in feeling the effect of that. And after Dr. Harvey's presentation tonight, I'm just wowed. It's pretty impressive results. Just looking at my notes, and I've got my dog here pawing at me. Did I miss anything, John? Or
actually, no. I'm thrilled that you were kind enough to take the time this evening and share your information. I know that you have pre-photos, and as you go through time, you're going to continue to take more photographs with the progress that you've achieved. I know that you have a particular goal. I don't think you want to share that to anyone online today, but at the end of your journey with the particular weight management Sims, I'm sure you're going to be more than happy to share your information of where you were and what you've achieved. And then along the way, as you've indicated, your experience with 2 different types of Body Sims, the performance and the weight management, and your huge interest in in discomfort and relaxation.
Relaxing.
We know that all of those can do a phenomenal job for anyone, as do every one of the Sims, whether it be heart or stress. And I think a lot of individuals that are concerned about weight management or adjusting their metabolism and their desire to continuously sort of be snacking on stuff.
Mhm.
You know, the larger the person or the heavier the individual, there's often stress or a heart issue that comes along with that, and other types of challenges that people experience. So, you know, you're very wise in moving forward with new technology and becoming you know, better within your health, because as we all age, I think, you know, I know from my own personal experience, I'm very much interested in having a more improved health condition, because we're susceptible as we mature, and we're not as resilient as young individuals are. We all know that our stem cells don't reproduce at the same rate as they did from the age of 0 to 20 or 21. And so I'm very pleased and happy for you that you're seeing the results that you are. I hope that you can achieve your big goal or aspiration in the time frame that you sort of planned out. And I do thank you very much for your time. If you have anything else to add, we're all ears, because we like to hear stories, great stories. And you know, I hope that you can join us frequently and
Sure.
have
Updates.
and have many more of your colleagues joining you as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great evening. Have a great evening. I am going to move along and share another gem or golden nugget, as I like to call it. You know, people will join us in our journey, and because of our great vision, you know, the majority will stay with us and they'll see the opportunity and the business that's behind all of this, because primarily you know, there are many doctors involved in St. Nouveau, and many practitioners of all different types that see the value in technology and see the power of St. Nouveau's technology. And, you know, you're going to have a small portion of individuals that will maybe fall off or take a break and come back. You know, that's not anyone's fault. So don't beat yourself up if you have that happen. It doesn't mean that you're not a great leader. I know that the first reaction is, well, what did I not do right or wrong to have somebody fall off? But as we all know, you know, individuals may just take a break and they'll come back eventually. They're going to quickly realize that their health changes back to where it was, or they may have a desire for that additional income stream. And there is no better company out there in the direct selling industry as St. Nouveau, because of the compensation plan and the products themselves. We as IBCs don't have to sell the product. The product basically markets itself, and it sells itself or promotes itself just by sharing a tiny little bit of information. The product lines, as I'd mentioned before or previously, they're life-changing, every one of them. And I'm not going to get into any details because all of us have seen the massive quantities of information. There are 3 different sort of divisions, as I call it, in the superfood group category, and within the foundation line, which are your Chinese herbs and, you know, superfoods from around the world, perfect blends of what create phenomenal results. And of course the Body Sims, which are the flagship of St. Nouveau. If we take a look at all of the tool sets that we have before us, I always like to encourage people to share with their team members and anybody that they see or bump into of the St. Nouveau app. I bumped into a couple people from Montreal this weekend for all of 5 minutes. And they happened to be meeting someone that I knew at a place that I was at, and we were chatting about the company that I'm involved with, and these total strangers noticed my body sims, and so in a very short window of about a minute, I was provided the opportunity to provide an elevator pitch, and I'm very big on not trying to provide too much information because that generally turns people off. But I did share with them, what the body sims were for, what the company was all about, and I said, go to your app store and download the St. Nouveau app, and you can see as much information as you like because it's very, very plentiful there. Or just simply go to the St. Nouveau website and then contact me. And I handed him one of my St. Nouveau business cards. In life, we like to leave a little bit of a legacy. And what I think about is our children or our family all around us. And my desire has always been to leave the world in a better place or in a better way than what I knew it as. We all have the power and the ability to bring about change. Sharing information doesn't take a lot of effort. We were provided a gift, which is our vocabulary and the ability to speak and communicate with individuals. So I look at something that's very, very, very important. If you want to leave your children or your kids, that we often refer to as, leave them with an example of how to live life, live it in the fullest. And I look at how most of the people love to live. And here's an example of what I truly love. I love the beach. I love water. I love the ocean. I love all kinds of activity. I like to travel and get away. And, if we want to live this kind of lifestyle, it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to get into a business and share some information and be famous for the health improvements that you're providing to people, no matter where you are. I often also say that when it comes to jumpstarting your business, just as we're sharing information here, St. Nouveau is constantly or continuously developing and sharing information with us. And I commend St. Nouveau. I commend Brian Davies, Catherine Shen, and all of the amazing people that work in corporate, no matter where they are in the world, for coming up with great ideas in how individuals can improve their business. And one of the best ways was through the Success Guide, which I had the opportunity to present on several weeks ago. And if you haven't gone into your back office to see the St. Nouveau Success Guide, I highly encourage everyone to do that. As I'm going to highly encourage everybody on this call today, I'm going to simply state that, a week ago and previously to that, I've always challenged people to bring on or invite as many people as we can to take in a Zoom call, because this is where information is shared and people truly become better at what they do. In your back office, as I said previously, there's a great slide or sheet that you can come to, download it, print it, do whatever, read the brief explanation that's within that Success Guide. And the entire Success Guide is a very easy read. It'll take you all of about 20 minutes to get through it, or half an hour. Find out what your true why is from deep down inside your heart, or from your passion within, or within your mindset of how to go about helping people. Find out what your true reasons are to be in this business. Journal them, have them close to you, have them pinned up on your fridge or on a mirror or anywhere on your work desk or wherever you are, or have it in your vehicle and follow it. Because every time you reference something, when we write something down, it's bound to become a reality for you. That's the fact of life. And apart from discovering what your why is and knowing it very well, I'm encouraging each and every one of you to come on and become great Zoom presenters, just as the people that are presenting, whether it's Dr. Allen or Daniel from Mexico, or Joaquin, or Catherine, or Brian. Every one of you have that same ability, just as the two speakers that you saw this evening, or myself. It's very easy. Become comfortable with who you are and take those next steps. Write down your goals. And I said that at the end of the presentation or today's talk, I was going to remind everybody of the low cost effectiveness of what it can take, or how quickly and easily an individual can become involved with St. Nouveau. For $9.99, anybody can join this company. At least start that process. The next step would be to share with them some of the specials that are on. And there's a wonderful one on right now, which I'm going to simply flip over to, and that happens to be Beat the Heat. This is an effect right through to, or this is an effect only for this weekend. So today is the last night where you can take advantage of the phenomenal deal that's out there. If you buy 5 packages of Sims, you receive 3 packages for free. And it's an outstanding bargain or buy to have a nice supply of Sims and introduce them to people, or use them yourself or with your family or with your friends. But I encourage people to, or everybody that I know, to take a look at the business, take a look at the company, because it is, as I've said numerous times, it's an amazing opportunity. And I think if we all ask corporate to extend this particular offer to the end of the month, they may do that if there's large enough demand, because it was a very short window for all of 3 days, to beat the heat. I know that in the greater Vancouver area, we're going to have a lot more heat for a lot longer, probably several more months, but especially into the next week or two. So I'm going to certainly be making a call out to corporate to see if they can extend this particular offer to the end of the month, just like the $9.99 offer to join the company. And, as I began the presentation, I'm going to share a quote by Mark Twain. It's Happy Monday, but for many people, it's already Tuesday if you're on the other side of the world. I look at Mark Twain's famous quote, it's give every day a chance to become the most beautiful day of your life. That's the way I go about my day-to-day routines. After I've sort of opened my eyes, I thank the good Lord above for another great day. I encourage all of you to do the same. I'm sure every one of you have faith, and you have a belief or faith in something. And we're all on this Zoom call or presentation because we have faith and we have belief in St. Nouveau. And to that point, I'm going to start to sign off and say thank you very much for joining us this evening. I look forward to presenting time and time again. And I do have one more slide to share, and it's an important one, and it has to do with your business, folks. When we become involved with a company, we're here for a reason, whether it's a personal reason to become better with our health, so we apply the body sims to ourselves. We also are in business as an independent business consultant. So I like to leave by sharing some information about, grow your sales. That increases your back office statistics, and it will pay you or reward you financially. If not today, tomorrow, or the next day, work towards those levels of rank. Grow your team, grow your teams, assist everybody, try to help them out. We're always collaborating, whether there are downline or even cross-line when it comes to professionalism and sharing information, just as we are on Zoom. It doesn't matter whose team we belong to. We're sharing good detail about the benefits of St. Nouveau Sims and the foundation lines and the, a superfood group category of energy drinks. I also encourage everyone to develop personally. I'm very large into that, whether it be through exercise or through continuously educating ourselves. And do the same thing with your team's skill sets. Develop your duplication process. That's always some of the hardest steps at the front end of every business. Go after your market share. You know, today we're living in a global economy. You can reach out to anybody on the other side of the world, people you don't even know. Attempt to use your social media or try to better understand it, as I've been trying to understand for the last 20 years. And I'm getting close. I'm getting closer and closer of how one can use that social media platform to their benefit to actually generate money and or an income. Help grow the brand and help grow your own business, because you are the CEO of your Say Nouveau business, as Brian Davies will always say. And to that